Hi, I'm Dr. Thad Deal, and today I'm making this video for people who missed or were unable to attend one of our recent thyroid workshops. I want to explain why so many people with thyroid problems are being missed, and the majority are actually being mistreated. I see two groups of people in my office. One, those that have already been diagnosed and know that they have low thyroid function. They're on replacement therapy, yet they still continue to suffer from all the symptoms of low thyroid. The second group of people we see are the ones who've long suspected that they may have a thyroid problem. They have all the symptoms of low thyroid function, but they've been told over and over again that their lab tests are normal. And we're going to explain today why and how that happens. So we need to understand how your thyroid works and why traditional medical management doesn't most of the time. It starts in an area deep in your brain called your hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is going to send out a signal to tell your pituitary gland to tell your thyroid gland to make thyroid hormone. The signal it sends out is something called thyrotropin releasing hormone. And again, it tells your pituitary to signal to the thyroid to make more thyroid hormone. The signaling messenger that the pituitary sends is TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone. If you have a thyroid problem or you've ever been checked for one, you're familiar with this. This is how they determine whether or not you have low thyroid function, and it's how they determine the efficacy of their treatment. So TSH tells the thyroid to take 4 molecules of iodine and 3 molecules of iodine and assemble them onto a tyrosine backbone to make T4 and T3. And it does so through the use of this enzyme here, TPO, or thyroid peroxidase. This is going to be important when we talk about the #1 cause of low thyroid function in this country. So again, TSH tells the thyroid to assemble iodine onto a tyrosine backbone to make T4 and T3. In order to understand the medical management of thyroid problems, you need to understand the relationship between T4 and TSH. If T4 is low, your TSH is going to rise. When your TSH rises above laboratory ranges, you are going to be diagnosed with low thyroid or hypothyroidism. So the medical approach is to give you a synthetic form of T4, usually something like Synthroid or levothyroxine. So it's going to bring these T4 levels up. TSH is going to come down to within the laboratory ranges, and then according to medicine, you're fixed. If you continue to suffer from symptoms of low thyroid, you're told that it's just part of getting older, it's something you have to live with, or you might start to have the individual symptoms medicated. So again, this is the medical approach, the pharmaceutical insurance-driven model of dealing with thyroid problems. And it doesn't work for the majority of people, and I'm going to tell you why here. The problem is, at this point, about 90% of the hormone is in the T4 form. Your body needs T3. It's a more biologically active form. So this T4 needs to be converted into T3. A lot of people do not convert well. One of the areas where this isn't converted is in the liver. So you need to have good liver function. But first, the hormone needs to get there. So it travels bound to a protein called thyroid binding globulin. Elevations in estrogen or testosterone can result in either too much or not enough thyroid binding globulin. So we need to look at hormones, other sex hormones as well. Once in the liver, this reaction is dependent upon the mineral selenium. So it's important to look at nutrient status. Some of the T4 will be converted into reverse T3. This is biologically inactive. But worse off, it competes with T3 by binding to the receptor sites and blocking thyroid hormone from being able to affect metabolism. And this is going to be affected by cortisol levels. Cortisol also influences the conversion of T4 to T3. Cortisol is regulated by our adrenal glands, two small walnut-sized glands that sit atop our kidneys. So we need to look at adrenal function in health. More of this T4 is converted in the gut, your stomach, small and large intestine. So if you have digestive problems, you are not going to convert thyroid hormone well. And the last problem that we can run into is thyroid resistance. Just like insulin resistance, if the receptors are no longer responding to the available thyroid hormone, you are going to suffer from low thyroid symptoms. But back to the number one cause of low thyroid in this country is an autoimmune condition, or Hashimoto's thyroid, in which your immune system is making antibodies against usually this enzyme here, TPO, or thyroid peroxidase, or sometimes thyroid binding globulin. Medicine doesn't check for this because it doesn't affect the treatment. The problem is not that your thyroid isn't working. The problem is that your immune system is attacking and destroying thyroid tissue. Nobody is managing your immune system. And that's what we need to do to determine whether or not there are underlying dietary triggers, oftentimes, underlying infections. And then we need to support and modulate your immune system so that we can minimize the amount of tissue destruction. Because if you have this process going on, your immune system likely is not going to limit itself to thyroid tissue. It can begin targeting and attacking other healthy tissues. So that's why we feel it's so important to look for these antibodies and determine whether or not this is the mechanism of your thyroid malfunction, as well as looking at brain health, liver function, gut function, your adrenals. We really need to look at everything because thyroid hormones affect every organ and system in the body and interplay with each other. So you really just can't isolate a single body system like that. It doesn't work when it comes to dealing with people with chronic health problems. And that's why our approach is different, in that we look at the whole person and address all the underlying physiology to help you get better naturally. So in order to find out whether or not this program might be right for you, I invite you to contact our office, or if you have any questions, you can always email me. I hope that this was valuable and that you learned something, and I look forward to meeting you someday soon.